Welcome back to WCQ Utrecht. We are in the points playoff. We just had round one where Joshua Smith beat Paul Scheffenacher. And now, this round, we have first in our points playoff, first in our points standing for this year, Raphael Neven from the Netherlands. So, congratulations, Raphael. You have had such a strong season this year. What kept you focused and what let you get so many points?
The end goal, this, and well, hopefully Worlds. And yeah, me being a player that I've played all kinds of tournaments, I've won all kinds of tournaments, but the only thing I'm missing in my career is the playing at Worlds, like going to the World Championship. So to like conclude my like last goal, every week I went to grind points, and yeah, I'm happy it worked out. I got here.
I mean, you've been all over the place. I've seen you at regionals in Ireland. You've been to the States. Really a very busy season for you. Are you glad that it has come to this and that this is the last step towards trying to get to Worlds?
Yeah, it was a very yeah. Every weekend I had to play. The season was very busy. Like I had to go Ireland, England. I also went on like YCSs to like the States, Ecuador, and those, of course, I couldn't get points, so that was really a vacation for me, just playing for fun, not for points. But yeah, it was stressful, it was tiresome, and yeah, I'm happy I get a little break after this.
Awesome. Well, if you would like to take a seat, we will be starting shortly. In the red corner, we have Sebastien, our only remaining French player in the tournament. Got a few fans in the crowd.
Yeah.
What preparation did you put into getting your place in the points?
I playing all these seasons for begin at the end. I have very lucky for two top YCS. This point can give me this place for today.
And did you know at the start of the season that Worlds was something you were aiming for, or did the YCSs kind of make you go, oh hey?
I'm only want play Yu-Gi-Oh because I have stopped 2 years ago, before, and I only will play and see what is the final destination.
Awesome. Well, best of luck in this round. If you'd like to take your seat, we are going to be getting ready to start round two. For people who are watching and just joining us now, this is a single elimination tournament, which means that these players are playing this one match, and whoever wins will progress forward to the next round, and the other player will be knocked out. For now, though, I'm going to pass you over to Ollie and Marcello, who are going to be giving you your match coverage.
Yeah, thank you very much, Daniel. It's been a long time coming. I got a little story to tell. I've been doing this commentary job for a very long time, and we had like the worst chairs in the world. I'm not kidding. The worst chairs in the world. And then they said, hey, we're going to change the whole thing up. You're going to be hosting the show. You're going to be standing the entire day on the main event stage. I'm like, okay, that's fine. The chairs are not great anyway. And then at that event was the first event where someone decided to bring Yu-Gi-Oh! Branded super comfy chairs in. And now after, I don't know, 1.5 years or something, it's the first time that I can sit in one of these chairs. So, like I said, long time coming. But we were talking about
it's a pretty nice one, and no, also for me it's a pleasure, honestly, to be back at doing commentary with you. It is how I started, like a lot of time ago, and it is cool that you can also switch. And
I think we can say at this point that the apprentice has basically become the master because you're doing such a fine job here. But so we are sitting comfortably here. The players are shaking. You could tell.
My.
Just Raphael, I've never seen him this nervous.
I was about to say the same. I know him very well. Like he's a close friend, and I've never seen him like that. He's actually quite the confident guy.
Even at YCS Prague when he was in the finals for the first time, and he was so close. He was so close to getting his first title, and he ended up getting it. I didn't see him shake like that. And also, like, Rudy took the Britain profiles and he talked to Raphael, and it was like shortly before the round started, I asked him, do you want to do this now, or do you want to focus on your match? And he said, there's no way I can do this after this match if I lose. Okay. I guess if he wins, he's fine, but so the stakes are high for both of these guys.
I mean, absolutely. As we were mentioning, and as he said while shaking, he has been playing so much Yu-Gi-Oh! This year. He traveled everywhere. He won events. He went to even Ecuador, which is absolutely
hilarious. I'm on a vacation playing Yu-Gi-Oh in Ecuador.
In Ecuador, yeah, which is like the dream, or I guess. But yeah, he was so successful. As we were saying, I think he's by far the most successful player for Europe this season. So he is definitely, at least it was one of my candidates for going to the World Championship.
Absolutely.
But we saw last match how pressure can get to you. So hopefully, even though he's shaky before the match, once he gets to the match, you will keep calm. And his deck can help with doing that. He decided to play just like Joshua, a combo deck. He's on Thunder Dragon, so which is a deck that honestly relies less on your nerves, because honestly it relies more on what your opponent is doing. So if your opponent has interactions, then it gets around that, but otherwise you're pretty much able to do your combos. Raphael can probably do them with a blindfold on, so that should be fine.
What is he hoping for? He wants to win the die roll, wants to go first, and then not see a hand trap. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, he doesn't know what his opponent is playing. And as we briefly mentioned, our players are actually gonna know about that in the next round. For the next round, we are running open deck lists, which is something we have not done before, but it is fair because every match is getting streamed.
Exactly. You can just watch all the matches, know about all the cards in your opponent's deck, and we don't want to force players to watch all of these matches, even though it's a very fair assumption that all of them are going to do that.
I would definitely do it. It gives you free information, because even if you get the deck list being handed out to you, you still want to see how they play and their style. But anyway, his opponent is Sebastien Ma, and he's on Sky Striker, so he's one of the 2 players that decided to bring it for this event. And even though the deck list is in French, so I might be mistaken, I think he's not using Mystic Mine, which is a first, honestly. It is the best card against Raphael, and I think if Raphael sees that his opponent is Sky Striker, he will be fearing the card for the entire match, but the card is not there. So mind games, I guess.
It's going to be very, very interesting.
Absolutely.
We are ready for this. You guys are definitely ready for this. And I think even the players are ready, or they might be dying of a heart attack very soon if we don't start it. So let's take you guys over to the feature match table and kick things off for the second match in the World's Playoff.
Yeah, so now the die roll has been rolled. We can probably safely assume that Sebastien is playing a strategy for going second, because this is the most popular thing for Sky Striker, and he's actually maining Gammas and other Entrops. So if he sees any of that going second against Raphael, he has a good chance. So,
but you did say that Mystic Mine is not in the deck, and you think that's a surprise. So what is his strategy going into this tournament when he's not risking it all with Mystic Mine? What is his approach to the deck building?
So basically, he took Jesse Cotton idea, I want to say, because last weekend we saw Jesse Cotton going back to the World Championship for the 3rd year in a row, which is absolutely impressive. And he did it with a Sky Striker maining Utopia Double, which is a card we have not seen ever before, and it worked out perfectly for him. So that's what Sebastien is doing, but now I'm pretty sure Raphael won the die roll, and he selected Sebastien to go first. I think so, but we're not sure about that. Anyway, he does get the Double or Nothing Engrave, which is a huge deal here. Also, something important to mention is that Raphael has been following and getting informations about all these players for these months. I know that he followed, like, asking around, what did these guys play at regionals, what did this guy play at YCSs, so he has a fair amount of predictions of what they might be playing on. So Sebastien has been playing Sky Strikers for months now.
Yeah, I think all of these players are going to be like super familiar with every single move in these decks. I think one of the most important things, or one of the most interesting things, is actually watching their faces. Sebastien looks super calm and collected at this point in time. Raphael seems less shaky than during the interview.
Yeah, absolutely. As you were saying, he's now more confident, and compared to Joshua, he is still playing Thunder Dragon cards, and those are very, very good in this matchup. So.
And this is practically the moment when he starts going for his combos where he's like shaking a little bit, waiting for a hand trap to drop. When is the perfect moment, or rather, to put this differently, when does Raphael know that Sebastien does not have a hand trap? I mean, 5 cards on the field already, so...
Absolutely. Like, I think he knows, because I think there is only 1 card in Sebastien's hand, which is the engage you
engage,
search for the. I don't think he has a second one, so it's pretty safe to assume.
Pretty obvious.
But there could be a Entrop trap, let's say, which is the infinite impermanence, which is an Entrop, but you can set it. So I guess that could be a case here. And he still has to play around the Widow Anchor that Sebastien picked up. So,
but generally speaking, Raphael should not feel too bad about this.
Absolutely not. I think it is not a surprise that he did this. It was quite a bold move, I have to say, because we did get confirmation that Raphael walked into this match probably assuming what his opponent was playing, which was Sky Striker. But you never know. Players can surprise. Like Jesse Cotton, for example. He won a YCS with Thunder. Everyone thought he was going to play Thunder for the playoffs. And there he switches to the Sky Striker. So.
All right, so Sebastien did win the die roll. At least that's what one of our judges just told me. A little bit of late information. So I don't think it was Raphael that won it.
Yeah, it would have been a very bold move to go second with Thunder Dragon in such a field.
But just to confirm, and he did actually roll a 12. So, I think that's the moment where Raphael was like, not a good start. But now it's looking much better for him.
It is. As soon as you have a Crusadia in a danger, as we saw in the last match as well, you're able to go for quite a powerful plays. And
what's your guess? How many times did both guys play this particular matchup this season? Is it fair to say that it's like triple digits? Like
I
more than 100 times?
I would say so. Like pretty consistently. Like it's
been a long year, but
I'm
format didn't
pretty
change
sure
that much.
Raphael played like 15 plus hours of Yu-Gi-Oh! A day. Like
on his vacation in Ecuador.
Exactly.
And then we can add like a few more tournaments in the US that he also played for fun. How do you travel so much? Like
I don't know. I don't even know what he does for a living. we should try to ask him.
He's unlocked the secret to infinite Yu-Gi-Oh! And there must have been a moment where Raphael just arrives at the US border and the border agent just looks at him and is like, you're good to go. It's fine. I'm glad you're back.
Yeah. But to be honest, if you are as successful as Raphael going to these events, honestly, you get a lot of prizes, so it is worth traveling.
There was one moment, that was like the 5th tournament that he was overseas, where he said, I didn't make the top cut this time. And then I thought to myself, wow, that must be so weird when you're like going abroad and every single time you're topping. All right, so where does he go from here? He's got a little bit of a setup, still missing something.
It is. He's looking forward to getting some action here, but what he really wants to do is push through this back row. So he doesn't know what is there from Sebastien. Widow Anchor is flipped up. Definitely not a good card in this spot. We're probably gonna see it chained on something random. As a danger, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
And the last set is what it all comes down to.
Right. And what do you think? In Raphael's head, how many cards did he narrow it down to? Like, what does he expect to be there face down?
I think what you're mostly afraid of is that it is another Widow Anchor, just because Sebastien now does have 3 spells in grave. So compared to before, he can now steal something from Raphael.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I feel like Raphael is honestly in a really good spot here.
And obviously, we got perfect information, so we know what's happening. It's the infinite impermanence that is face down there.
Yeah.
Not as good as the Widow Anchor.
Absolutely not. So if things went the other way around, where he used the impermanence before the Anchor, it could have been better. But now, I think if Raphael could see this ad, he would be very happy here.
Right. No spoilers.
No spoilers, no.
This is like infinite rolling a die here.
Yeah, it's a lot of die rolls with these danger cards. I think probably after Burning Abyss, they were the most impactful TCG-only archetype. They're such incredible cards that we have seen being played in ever since they were released, really. So
So in the first match, we actually did see like a bit of a misplay, right? Where
Absolutely.
we didn't see like the ideal place.
A huge one, actually, because like basically it was very, very peculiar, because I think it was based on the warning for slow play. because Paul was playing, I don't want to say perfectly, but he was going for these out of the water lines where he doesn't do the obvious one, but he was still getting him there. It seems like he was very confident walking into the match. Even he was like, sure, I'm playing against Joshua, but that's fine.
I mean, some people would say he got nothing to lose because,
I agree.
Like we said, we didn't feature him before. It's not like he's one of the players that we see every larger tournament, like a Raphael Neven or like a Joshua Schmidt. So he's going into this even though he was in the second seed as the underdog.
Was definitely the underdog. We can say that. We can agree on that. And he surprisingly navigated the match very well. He didn't have that much things going on in game 3, but he completely turned out the game. And it's very peculiar because, as I was saying, he just had everything he needed to get game on board. The only thing I can think of are two options. Once, he got very nervous due to the warning, and second, maybe he didn't see the 4,000 life points from the Destrudo. Because if Joshua was still at 8,000, then there is no way you win there. So
I mean, I didn't want to talk too much about the previous game. I just want to talk about the fact that it changes. All changes when you're playing in the feature match area.
Absolutely.
And obviously, Raphael is super used to playing in the feature match. He by now has a positive record playing in the feature match. There was a point in time when he was like 1-2 or even 1-3. Didn't want to have feature matches. That was before Prague. And
winning events helps with that.
Yeah, it definitely helps. Yeah, you're always like, I want to have a feature match. It's not going to make me nervous. So how do you feel about Sebastien? Because we did feature him before, but I think that was a couple of years back.
Absolutely.
Something like YCS Toulouse.
As he said, he didn't play as much in the past years, so still very, very good on him, honestly, because going back into the game and still managing to be among the top 8 best players in Europe is quite the impressive feat. Especially for France.
Yeah, I feel super happy about how the French duelists are making a showing at this tournament. And I mean, they had the largest national championship in all of Europe, so it seems like France is ready for a comeback. For a revolution, some would say. I know you guys have been missing these puns. Okay, so Raphael is still in the combo. We're counting 9 minutes on the clock at this point, still doing things.
Absolutely.
What's his end game here to come up with the title of a popular movie?
So basically, Raphael is playing, compared to a lot of different deck lists, the Boros War Dragon in his extra deck, which allows him to actually OTK here if he wants to.
It's fair to assume he wants to.
I guess it is not bad to do that. So, yeah, I think he's definitely going to try and force this last back row from Sebastien, because once the back row is gone, he can obviously OTK very easily.
Yeah.
He has so many lines of play still, and this is...
So things are shaping up for Raphael Neven, but we shouldn't discount Sebastien Ma just yet. I mean, if he gets a second turn, that's always the big question. Do you get another turn? There are ways for him to come back. But
there should be, but he does not think the same.
Gotta eat my words.
He picks up his cards. So Raphael takes the game 1. Mainly, I would say, due to the fact that Sebastien decided to go first.
Yeah.
I think that was quite a weird decision looking at this deck list. Like, I don't really think this is a Sky Striker deck that wants to go first when you have Gamma. But anyway, Raphael end was amazing for this matchup. And once we go to the side deck, I think it gets even better. Because he's siding a card we have not seen in ages, which is Spell Canceller.
Wow.
Yeah.
He must have cleared the dust off the card before he put it in. But actually, all players had to re-sleeve before this tournament. Everybody's playing in these super fancy, cool Yu-Gi-Oh! Sponsored sleeves. And I think it's very fair to assume that Raphael is immediately going for those spell cancels.
Oh, yeah.
What is going to go out of his deck here?
So, what he wants to side in, along with the spell cancelers, are Dankoseka, again. And we are fair to assume that he's going to expect Artifact Lancia to be in Sebastien, because from the percentage, it is the most side deck card for months now. So he's going to side deck, I believe, cards that are weaker to Lancia. So some of the Chaos Dragons, so Wyverbuster and Collapse Serpent, they're not needed as free offs. Same for Levianir. So that's what I would expect him to side out.
Right.
While for Sebastien, we do see a few more Antrops, something very popular throughout the weekend.
Right.
And outside of that, I don't think he's going to side too much. He does main 10 Antrops, which is a very big number.
Let's put this differently. What would have been the ideal matchup for Sebastien's deck?
I think it would have been Salamantgreat, which is unfortunately for him not an option anymore, because the only Salamantgreat player is out of contention.
No, but rough. I'm just looking at the stream in front of me where it says Salamantgreat. Of course,
it is not Salamantgreat.
It's a bit of a mix-up here.
Yeah. We have Raphael as Salamantgreat while he's obviously playing Thunder Dragon. But yeah, as I was saying, Sebastien deck seems like it's very good against the Salamantgreat.
Right. So, yeah, even if he goes and ends up winning this match, his odds in the second round wouldn't be that great.
Are not that good. At least, as we were saying, this is the most important match for them, because once they get to top 4, they only need to win 1 out of 2 matches, which is, of course, not easy, but a lot more doable. Like I think the pressures really becomes lower, because you have played a match on stream already, so I think it gets very easier from there on.
I think it's fair to assume that Raphael Neven is a lot calmer right now, comparing it to going into the match. He might have to rush a little bit. I didn't look exactly at the clock, but we were around the 30-minute mark when the first match first duel concluded.
Yeah, we have about 27 minutes left, and Sky Striker...
Yeah, now he's shuffling, so he's good.
Yeah, Sky Striker is very good in time.
He's not shuffling.
Probably checking if he sided enough cards, but...
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you end up getting a game lost or something in that tournament, you're never going to forget this.
Oh, yeah.
In 10 years' time, you're going to be thinking back, there goes my chance going to Worlds because I forgot about one card in my side deck or something like that. Yeah, I didn't take the time, so I'm not 100% sure. It's very fair to assume he sided in less than 3 minutes. Otherwise, the judges would have given him a warning.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
And even then, a warning is not the end of the day.
Absolutely not for such...
How many warnings have you picked up in your career, Marcello?
No, I think it was very weird for me, because there were like a period in which I would always get at least a warning for slow play every event, like possibly even a few game losses there. But then I think I played like multiple events from 2017 on, and I've never had a warning, like even once, which is...
We should investigate what happened to the judge that gave you the warning. Maybe it disappeared.
You shouldn't. I'm from Sicily. You remember?
Yeah, the judge was found in the ocean with some concrete
Rocks,
boots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I need to investigate this. All right. So second game.
Second game. Now again, there is a kind of a surprise if Sebastien still wants to go first.
Right.
It didn't work for him in game 1. Let's see if he's feeling lucky now.
It's actually somebody pointed this out on the stream. In the commentary on Twitch, he said Jesse Cotton, who played this deck, as you mentioned in the beginning, said that it's a go second game.
Absolutely. That's why I'm very surprised that he still went first. His hand is looking a lot better than game 1, and he has all the tools he needs to do here. And Draw and Lock Bird, we have seen being the best card by far against the Raphael deck. And just look at his hand. He's
got nothing to stop this.
Yeah, he's got nothing to stop this, and he has a lot of draw cards. So once Draw and Lock comes down, those are all locked for the turn.
Yeah, the lock is the important part.
Oh yeah.
The draw is just like for fun.
Exactly.
Okay, so good opening hand for Sebastien. On a scale from 1 to 10, how good is this opening hand?
It's probably an 8, I would say. It's pretty good up there.
Indeed.
Like every time you see an engage, you're already kind of happy.
Yeah.
And if you see like an hand trap, especially as impactful as draw, you're quite happy about this.
Right. And what does Raphael want to draw here? Is there a card that would suddenly open up a lot more plays for him?
So unfortunately, he doesn't have any outs to the Draw and Lock, which means that the best cards he can pick up are the ones he sided. So the Dankos and the Spell Canceller. Like imagine a Spell Canceller against this opening. Like it would be ridiculous. So
okay. So good odds for Sebastien, but we've seen this before. These matches go back and forth and everything. Even in our first match on the stream.
Indeed.
How relaxed must Joshua Schmidt feel at this point in time? Or do you think he's still under pressure like crazy?
I think it is quite a unique feeling, I would say. Like it happens from time to time. Like Tom Rose also know that very well. I think the 3 events he won, every single time his opponent gave him a very good present. So people are very kind to him, apparently, as he's kind to everyone.
He's a very nice guy.
It is fair enough. But it is very weird, because like I'm pretty sure Joshua for a moment thought, okay, this is over. I I'm gonna have to try tomorrow. So it is very weird when you're feeling that down and then all of a sudden, what happened?
It's like a roller coaster ride.
Yeah. Which is something that I also experienced a couple times, but it is definitely, as you're saying, it's a much better feeling. Like walking into the next round, you have 1 out of 2, like 50% chance we can say of going to the World Championship.
At the beginning, it's 1 and 8.
Yeah.
So now you're 1 and 4 in a way.
Yeah, and it is much better, especially considering the nature of Joshua deck.
I mean, considering like 3 out of the 4 guys that end up in the second round are going to Worlds, we could even say it's a 75% chance of going to Worlds. All right, so good start, good opening for Sebastien.
Definitely good opening, but you can see here
so many face downs.
How Danko would be just very good.
I've heard about this card, yeah. So let's see. What he's drawing is going to be super important.
So he gets another danger, but now he has 2 more draws from the Sekkas. And then the draw and lock is going to come down. So let's see if any of these 2 cards are Spell Canceller or Danko. I think it is basically going to come down to this.
Yeah.
The first one is not, the second one is either. So he is going to have to try and fight back some other way.
And Sebastien is going to drop the... Yeah. I was like, he's not going to forget about this.
Oh, no.
There's no chance.
You don't want to.
Yeah. Then people would be like, oh my god, how did he end up in the top 8 here?
And now this looks terrible for Raphael because he has 4 Dangerous Masters and no way to really do much with them.
It's a rough hand.
The really cool thing about Dangers though is that you can still try to activate it and you can resolve the second part of their effects. So,
do you think he's going to try that or do you think he's just going to pass?
There is a chance he just passes here. Like, I would be surprised if he didn't play the Pancratops. Yeah, as I was about to say. You always play the Pancratops just because why not? And
just
it is there. It's there. Like, he doesn't want it to stay in there. And he also has 7 cards in hand with the Pancratops. So
you can throw one away.
Yeah. But I don't know. Here, I wouldn't hate actually passing. Yeah, and that's what he does.
Right.
Very smart play here by
Good predictions. I see a career as a fortune teller for you, my friend. Okay, back to Sebastien. Does he even need another card here? I mean, he
doesn't. Like he's gonna resolve so many engages for +1 next turn, which is just ridiculous.
So when you're putting yourself in Raphael's position here, in your head, are you already thinking about what you're doing next after this duel has concluded? Or
absolutely. Like what I think Raphael should really consider, and I think it depends on how much he tested this matchup, is the clock.
Yeah.
Because right now it is about half through the match, and there is really this game is not gonna end quickly.
Right.
So if we actually wait for the correct win condition, which is putting your opponent life points to 0, this could actually go for a while because Sky Striker is a deck that's very good at disrupting, but not very good at pushing damage. So Raphael really needs to think about when is the correct time to go to game 3.
And that's one of those things that people don't think about often enough. They think about how to become a better player, and then they learn about mastering your deck and everything, but these are the other things that come into play. You need to know when to concede sometimes to have more of a chance in a possible third duel. But I think it's fair to assume that Raphael knows.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there is it doesn't make sense to concede right away because he still has the chance to pick up later the Danko or the Spell Canceller.
Right.
Also, something important to mention is that this is a direct elimination tournament, so the rules for timeout are slightly different.
It's a good point.
And basically, compared to a Swiss, if time is called and there is still a game 3 to be played, it is kind of like old school. We're going to have a 4-turn duel, 2 each, which means that the Sky Striker deck is not as good because you just don't...
As you just said, they are not famous for pushing damage.
Yeah.
They are famous for playing with you forever and ever.
Yes.
And getting you to the brink of going crazy. All right, but it's definitely looking good for Sebastien, regardless of how many turns Raphael is going to have.
Absolutely. And now I expect him to actually go for a very heads-up play once we get to Raphael's turn, which is Shark Cannon. Allows you to banish a card from your opponent graveyard, of course, but if you have 3 spells, you can summon it back. And in this moment, he can summon back the Pancratops from Raphael, which means that this is an out to Danko Sekka and Spell Canceller, because he can just pop itself.
So what's left in Raphael's deck that can get him back into the game?
I think Raphael is just gonna hope that Sebastien doesn't see this line.
Right.
because if Sebastien doesn't use the shark cannon right away, then Danko can still work.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure he's gonna bank on that. So.
Okay, so if you're a fan of Raphael Neven, you now need to hope that his opponent, Sebastien Ma, is going to forget about an effect of his own. That's always a bad spot to be in.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to rely on your
like,
opponent's mistakes.
Okay, I got one chance. If my opponent doesn't know how to play the game, I can... Oh, and actually he picked up another draw in Lockbird.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. Wow, the draw
That's just like...
here. It just kneel on the coffin. Really not what Raphael wanted to see here.
And you can actually see it when you look at Sebastien Ma's face. He seems to be very much in control right now, and he knows it.
He got this.
He knows. Yeah. And Raphael is going through a bit of a roller coaster. For a little while, he was feeling quite good about this whole thing after the first duel, basically. And now it's a bit of a different story. So when is he going to go for the shark cannon here?
He should do it here, but I think the draw does changes things.
Right.
So
now he's no longer under any urgency.
I mean, I think you still do it if you're him, but the draw changes so much here because I think it would have been game even regardless. As I was saying, with the shark cannon, you're in such an incredible spot.
Right.
But the draw is gonna come down here.
And do you do sometimes moves just to drive your opponent nuts?
Absolutely.
We just go for the shark cannon just to show him I got everything.
Absolutely.
And Raphael is not going to be happy about this.
Yeah, he's just gonna chain the only card that he can at this point, but he's gonna be in the same spot at last turn. At least he also picks up Dragonhawk, which allows him to play, but this is gonna be very tough.
It's not much of a play.
Yeah.
All right, so.
But I do agree with the mind games. Like
you would have just gone for it, right?
I wouldn't have hated quite of a negative move, I would say. Even like not shuffling when you draw such an impactful card, so that you show them that you top decked it, kind of in a way. That's what I mean. Like those kind of situations are things that sometimes happen, which is usually more for unexperienced players when they don't give out information for free. But that can even tilt you even more, because then you're like, oh, you really did top decked it. So yeah.
Yeah. So. Well, while we are having fun here, the same cannot be said about Raphael Neven.
No.
But he's hanging in there. Obviously, he is a champion. He's been doing so well this last season.
So.
Like you said, the most successful player this last season.
In Europe, by far, yeah.
Yeah. Is there anybody in the US that had more successes?
I think Paulo probably in the South America gotta win the crown because he won 3 events back-to-back, which is the record for the entire game. There was never a back-to-back-to-back, so it is...
The third one is the important one.
Yeah, the third one is the important one.
Everybody can win two events in a row.
Back-to-back is not impressive.
Okay, so actually the chat doesn't really agree with the play that Sebastien didn't drop the shark cannon right away.
Yeah, I think it is quite risky because it still means that there are a few ends where Raphael can play through draw if he has Danko, because then there are no other end traps in Sebastien end. So I think it would have been correct, but
maybe he's feeling lucky. But quite honestly, I wouldn't have the nerves. If it was me sitting there right now, I would be going all in every single turn. I wouldn't be holding anything back.
Yeah, you can see like it's quite a different tournament. Usually when you see these consistent players, when they're going to a huge event like a YCS or a European Championship, they want to bring the most consistent deck. Because usually they think in a huge field, they're going to play better than the average opponent. So if they don't risk it all, they're probably going to top, and it works out.
Right.
In this case, they're playing elimination for World Championship, just 1 or 2 matches. They're all playing
that
Thunder.
Is it for the second duel. It's 1-1 between Sebastien Ma and Raphael Neven.
Nice.
So, Sebastien, nice comeback.
Yes, absolutely. He still stick with going first.
Yep.
And now he pays off for him. And you can see Raphael not being as happy as he was before.
Maybe that's part of the strategy. He's playing a deck that wants to go second, and then he's going first to maximize the emotional impact on your opponent. Because your opponent is like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's going
It is
first.
possible. I mean, it is possible.
No, I'm just kidding.
No. I know you are, but it is not that crazy because we were talking last round now. I think very good players tend to have a lot of mind games in the side deck. So you can let your opponent go first, which is also quite cool. And in this case for Sebastien, it is an option. So I wouldn't be surprised if Raphael went second this May. But
yeah.
We'll
so,
see.
wow, 1-1 between those two. So Raphael now for the first time has the chance to go first. Is it fair to assume that he's going to go first?
I don't think it is. That's the thing. Like, it really depends, and this is the beauty of Sebastien deck. Every Sky Striker deck that we've seen this format wanted to go second.
Right.
The only one was Marcus Patel, which in the end won the UK Nationals, so it did work out for him, but it wasn't as popular. And honestly, Raphael gotta be scared about those drone and locks. I don't know if he knows about Sebastien deck, but from our perspective, we know that going into the side decks, he has actually 15 Antrops, which is quite a big number.
They must have almost a record at this point.
Yeah.
So he wanted to like go super safe. I mean, obviously you don't want to lose to a bad opening hand, but if you have 5 hand traps, you're not going to do much either.
Oh yeah, I know about that. Like last year.
Didn't want to bring up some bad memories.
No.
I'm sorry about that.
But it does happen, and that's also a thing. Like, you can only afford to play these many Antrops in decks like Sky Striker or Salamantgreat, which we saw last turn, just because they can play with one card quite consistently.
Yeah.
Just like Zodiac was back in the day. But
yeah. Are you going to go for the World's Points race next season? Because this season you didn't, right?
I didn't. I focused more on doing commentary and I don't know. We're not gonna spoil it. I guess we'll see how
Okay.
the season goes.
Everybody's going to be afraid right now. Okay,
Yes.
time for a very late water break. Raphael is just taking a sip, and then it's going to be game time again for the final duel in the second
Yes.
match of our World's Points playoff. If you're just tuned in, we're going to be streaming all the relevant matches that decide who is going to the World Championship. That means all of the quarterfinals. And after that, we're going to be featuring both of the semi-finals. The winners will be going to Worlds. And then after that, we're going to be streaming the third place playoff.
Yes.
We are not going to stream the finals because, quite honestly, these guys will have had enough at that point. And I don't think anybody minds ending up in second place because it means you're going to Worlds. So,
Absolutely.
so 7 matches today on a Friday on the first day of Euros weekend.
Yeah, it is, as we were saying, the first time ever we streamed on a Friday, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, we did that the only time, I think, for the LDS playoffs back in London. But it is quite different, honestly, because having a VIP package, which in the end went to Ericos, isn't quite as going to the World Championship, I would say.
Yes. And I think we're going to put even more work into this format. Obviously, this is a step up from last year. Everybody agreed about that. And I think next year we're going to do even an even better thing. So there are different ways to make this work.
Yeah, it is quite a big deal. It is probably the biggest change alongside, I would say, the time rules and the link masters, which happened to the game. I've been playing the game for a lot of years, and the news of having World Championship points was great to me because it gives you a really good chance. In the end, in my year, I didn't need it, but I still went for it, and it worked out very well. So
yeah. So we are, any moment now, we're going to be ready. No worries, guys. The clock has been stopped. It's not that there's a judge interference or something. So we're just going to be back with the match in just a second. You're not going to miss out on anything about the match.
Absolutely
we can tell you that. So just if your nerves are getting the better of you, no worries. The players are not under investigation or something like that.
No, it's fine.
We're going to be, very soon, we're going to be back with the match. We looked at the deck lists. You mentioned the 15 hand traps that Sebastien is running. Is it fair to say that this match is all going to come down to psychology at this point?
It is. I think the biggest thing we're going to see is who starts. So I think Raphael, as you said, usually always wants to go first.
Yep.
But he just saw a very different Sky Striker deck than the one he probably play tested against.
Right.
Because you usually expect Mystic Mine, going second strategy, so you don't know what's going on here.
Is there a chance that Raphael thinks Sebastien is playing Mystic Mine? I think the players are ready. They're
So the players are ready now. We can go back to the table real quick.
But is there a chance that Raphael might think that his opponent is playing Mystic Mine, but he just
assume that it is mindless, let's say.
Right.
Anyway, we see the hands, and I see a Danko in Raphael's hand.
And actually, I can see that Sebastien did not look happy when he revealed his hand.
Oh no, not at all. Because he only draws one impermanence, which is one of the worst hand chops, probably the worst hand chop he's playing.
Out of 15, not different ones, but out of the 15, he was hoping for a different one. And we didn't see the hand of Raphael yet. He doesn't look super happy, to be honest.
He has a Crusadia plus a Danger, but it doesn't look very good. He does have Danko though, which can come up from turn 2 on. So let's see, this Danger is very important. If he gets sniped, it is gonna be so good. Danko gets sniped instead. So no Danko for Raphael.
How much does this hurt?
It does hurt significantly, but in the end, it will all come down to where Raphael is able to establish a board through the impermanence. And to be honest, Sebastien looked unhappy, but I don't hate his hand. Like, true, you always want more hand chops, but you do have the Pancratops, you have multi-roll plus area 0 and a Widow Anchor, so I really like Sebastien's hand.
Yeah.
And Raphael...
He seems to be thinking a lot about his next play here.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to have the cards of Raphael very soonish. I mean, if you can make out any of them, no problem.
Okay, so Raphael goes for a Link Shoe play. He's not feeling lucky with these Dangers, and I can't blame him, but this is actually going to come back to hurt him because the impermanence is there. Wyverbuster comes down. This will allow him to push a little bit more. And this is quite a good opening here. When you basically have 2 monsters plus a baby dragon, which we would like to call them, you're able to summon both LP and Pisty, which is probably what we're going to see here.
Right.
And that means that you play around hand chops quite better. So I don't hate either of these guys' hands.
I think like Raphael is feeling okay about his hand and about his plays, and he's going to feel better and better once he realizes that Sebastien has next to no way to stop him.
Exactly.
So just keep your eyes on the face of Raphael Neven and you will see it lightening up like a sun in the morning. He's going to get happier and happier. And then the big question is Sebastien Mar going to be able to come back here? Is he going to be able to find any footing in this third and final duel?
Definitely tough. And you can see here how impermanence really is one of the worst ones. Because if Draw and Lock, even mostly Gamma, Ogre were drawn by Sebastien instead of the impermanence, this would have been a completely different opening. It would hurt a lot if you're Raphael.
Right.
And now the impermanence does come down to stop the LP. And as you can see...
So it did some work.
It did. It does get you there, but it is definitely not as impactful as the other hand chops.
Right.
And this is where it gets interesting, because if you side 15 hand chops and you only open 1, that means that you have 14.
There's a lot waiting for you.
Yes, there's a lot waiting for you, and you don't really want to get any of them later on. So.
Right. How you want to draw them like first turn, right?
Yeah.
The second turn, is that already too late, or is it still? I mean, the Draw and Lockbird in the first.
Yes, it did work out, but it worked out just because he had a 1 Draw and Lockbird already before. I think the only one that really works out is Gamma, because you are able to force the Gamma, then it gets very good.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of Gamma, I don't think you want to draw any of the other ones.
All right.
So Raphael is gonna try and continue here. It depends on how greedy he wants to be again, because...
How greedy is Raphael Neven? I mean, he's going on vacation Ecuador to play Yu-Gi-Oh! To win more prize cards. I would say he's a very greedy person. And I don't mean that in a negative way.
Absolutely
I
not.
would, if I could,
Oh,
too.
yeah. It's lovely. So now we're going to see a triple burst, probably followed by an Agar Pain, which is quite fair assumption. Like the usual opener usually gets you there, so which means it's a Erotic Link plus an Abyss, which at the moment we know would be not enough to stop Sebastien. So
right.
Still very open game.
But so far, so good. Raphael Neven doesn't look too unhappy, doesn't look super happy. He's a bit torn at the moment.
Yeah. Here, because he is waiting for his opponent. So if there is a second hand trap here, you're not happy. But it seems like...
He's just like any moment now.
Yeah. but now he's actually back on track. So having the Levianeer hard drone is also very good here. It means that even if the the LP got stopped, it doesn't matter. And the card being shuffled by Levianeer is gonna also be very important. The worst one being, okay, I think he picked up the Widow Anchor.
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But probably not the. I think it might have been the worst one.
Oh, okay.
Because he still gets to play. But I'm not like.
It's very hard to tell at this point.
I'm not okay. Also, I think he did shuffle that.
Too many variables in this match so far.
Yeah.
Do you think Raphael is more nervous than in a YCS final?
For sure.
Okay.
Ooh, and Desires is picked up, which is also quite a big deal. He's gonna give him a lot of cards back. And you know how many Desires Sebastien play?
Let me guess, one?
Just the one. Yeah, you're correct.
Of course.
And
he should be playing the lottery after this one.
Oh wow, yeah. And Pancratops is amazing here. You can see Raphael is not happy. And that is because Pancratops actually forces everything from Raphael field. So this is looking like Sebastien is back on track. And time is an issue. So
right, that's also, another factor.
This game is quite close. I think judging by the first 2 matches we have seen, they're all going to come down to this. These guys really want to go to the World Championship, and they're all really good players.
Who can blame them?
Yeah.
Oof. I mean, you're already under such high pressure playing in the feature match for this important prize. I mean, you did get the prize card already, so there's a small prize already. I mean, small prize. It's not a bad prize. But it's just, the ceiling is just so much higher. Like, going to Worlds is just so much better than just ending up in this tournament in the first place.
It is the best. I mean, personally speaking, it was the best experience by far.
Right.
All these years playing.
I mean, I think people are only going to be bummed out because it's in Berlin rather than Tokyo or in the US.
I do agree with that.
Because you want to travel for playing.
But I mean, you have a chance to win it, which means that you'll get to the next one.
Yeah,
so.
Of course. I mean, I'm not going to be saying anything bad about Berlin, obviously. My chosen home.
Yeah.
Best city in Europe.
I live in Rome, though.
Yeah, I've heard some things about Rome.
Yeah. But anyway, Raphael plays it very smart. He uses the Euretic Seal, which you usually use to bounce an opponent card, to bounce back his own cards. So he got the Levianeer for next turn. And here, my main concern is the time. So
right. Raphael needs to make a push right now.
He needs, but now Sebastien still has a lot of things going on, and he has the Desires, and he has a pretty good hand. So there is a chance that he might actually use all of these 5 minutes, which would be very bad.
Right.
I doubt it, to be honest, unless like Engage is picked up here. But let's see. This Desires is gonna be very, very relevant. So
he's just checking the cards that are gonna be banished. It's a good mix, is what I can make out.
Yeah. Oh, and he picks up the Driver, which is one of the worst ones, actually.
Reinforcement.
Very unfortunate Driver. But now he's gonna get a Ray and the option to get a card with Aria 0. Still quite an open game.
He just keep going places. Like Sky Striker just keeps grinding. How important is it for Sebastien to push for damage here, or is it not that important at this point in time?
I mean, the thing is that he has already used his battle phase trying to force Raphael, so the only way he can push damage here is by gaining life points through Kaina. And I don't think he has enough, though, because there are only 4 minutes left. He really needs to pick up an Engage here. Does he get it? He doesn't get anything. And you can hear the crowd going crazy.
Like, they must have been listening to you. It's almost like we're out live. Wow. So this is such a roller coaster ride for both of these guys.
Yeah.
Do you think Raphael, like his spirits have been lifted a little bit when he realized his opponent is not going to follow it up that strongly? Or do you think he's still shaking and still feeling like this is not going my way?
I think he's a lot more comfortable now. You can see that he really rushed to cut his opponent deck.
Right.
Which means that he knows that at this point he probably only lose to the time. And it is going to be very, very close here, because not revealing a Sky Striker card was so unfortunate by Sebastien. It could have changed miles, like literally.
Wow, but it seemed like the crowd was actually on Raphael's side. I mean, he is the first seated player. He was the most consistent guy, even though he didn't play all the European tournaments he could have played. He could have easily crushed 600 points.
Absolutely.
If he had just spent another weekend in Europe rather than in Ecuador. It doesn't get old.
Yeah.
It doesn't get old, this joke.
So now he's gonna use the multi-roll just to get 3 spells engrave, which is quite a good idea. He goes to the end phase, and Raphael is gonna be so happy that there is no other card being set. We know that the card in Sebastien hand is actually the worst card in his deck, which is the driver.
The worst card in his deck.
Yes,
that's like a devastating
it really is.
statement. That driver is going to be feeling suicidal after this match.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, driver. Don't blame it on me. Oh, and Danko is picked up.
Ooh, that's
my
big draw for Raphael.
Danko is picked
and
up.
And it comes down, and there you can see the entire... And look at the speed of Raphael Neven. He's just completely in the zone. He doesn't even like realize what's happening around him. Now he's like focusing 200% on this match. And he must be feeling amazing about this, ripping it from the top. And wow, this must... Look at Sebastien Ma's face. He's not happy about this. And how could he? How could he? What a turn of events back and forth between these two guys.
Crazy.
I actually got goosebumps here. I'm not kidding. This is... Yeah, I didn't know what I was missing out on. But wow.
Yeah. Insane.
This is surreal. This is surreal. Like this is, if you ask Raphael Neven about this moment later on, there might be a chance that he's saying, I just skipped my memory for this. I don't remember what happened. I just saw Denko Seka and then I went into autopilot. And wow, he's now a little bit slower again. The first few seconds after the Denko Seka was like lightning fast.
Yeah, he just got super excited, but now he gotta keep
He's
calm.
Like, okay, I have to still get this home, still get to the finish line.
He has got this, and to be fair, like even Spell Canceller would have been very good to just tribute summon over the Brotor. So he had a lot of very good top decks there. And now he just goes into the battle phase and he's gonna push a lot.
It's just so crazy. It looks like someone was pendulum summoning 5 monsters to the field, but it's far from that. Very, very different story here. And on the brink of defeat, Raphael Neven comes back. Sebastien Ma is throwing infinite monsters at him.
Yeah, just trying to survive here, which is gonna be tough.
Stem the bleeding as much as possible. But he's got 2nd degree burns here. He needs to go to the emergency room. So wow, this is such a back and forth between those guys. Definitely didn't disappoint this match.
Oh no, it didn't. And now time is almost over, and Raphael.
I think Raphael almost forgot to breathe for a little second. I just saw him now like gasping for air.
Yeah, I think he got all red as well.
Yeah. So yeah, is this now? Obviously, he's more or less an autopilot. He's gonna go through the motions. He's gonna. What is he going to end up with? What's the feel that he wants to have at the end of his turn?
He's going to try and put up some negations. He goes for Saruyo just because he wants to look for a Thunder Dragon card, because that will look up any possible draw for Sebastien. But I'm pretty sure that time is going to run out while he's trying to do that.
Right.
Also, he could be looking for Spell Canceller, because he can special summon the Spell Canceller with Saruyo. And yeah, it just seems a matter of seconds here where he picks up. I think time is called.
And that is it. Wow, Raphael Neven advances to the semi-finals of the top 8 playoff for Wales. And you can see the emotion of both of these players' faces. Well done to both of them. Let's talk about this thriller of a match in the post-match analysis.
Wow. What a match. What a match.
Yeah, in one word, wow. What a match between these two guys. It was such a back and forth. We talked about, going into it, we talked about the decks. Looked at Sebastien Ma's deck, thought, wow, why is he not playing Mystic Mine? Oh, he's playing this Goes second deck. Goes first. Loses the first game, second game, goes first again. Like nothing is going according to plan for him, at least what we thought his plan is going to be. And then Raphael Neven kind of knows that his opponent is playing a deck that wants to go second, still decides to go first in the third game. in the end, nobody's going to disagree with him because he ended up winning.
Yeah.
But there's more to this story.
Absolutely.
Let's recap it again. The first game.
Yeah,
How
as
did it
you were
go down?
saying, basically, just Sebastien surprised us all. He rolled a 12, which gotta be a nice feeling walking into like the playoffs. And we all expected him to go second because, as you're saying, he's maining multiple land chops, gammas even, which are completely useless, as we unfortunately saw later on. And he opens a very mediocre end, I would say, like kind of okay, but he's playing unfortunately against Thunder Dragon, which is his worst matchup. I'm pretty sure he was expecting Salamantgreat to be more popular, which, to be honest, a deck list like this, I wouldn't be surprised if he went very well tomorrow.
Right.
So,
if he were to play the same deck.
Yes, I think maybe he will switch just because of how this went, but I think this kind of deck list is not a playoff deck list. It's more of a main event deck list. Just as a reminder, anyway, he's still in contention for the European Championship.
Yes.
He will have a VIP package, 2 buys, which means he gets to sleep more and have less rounds on total.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is how he lost the game 1. Game 2, as you said.
He's got the Droll Lockbird in his opening hand. Very important, very crucial. Raphael didn't have a great opening hand.
Either.
Starts, tried doing his combo, but the Droll Lockbird comes down.
Yeah, Droll Lock is just such a powerful card. We surprisingly, I mean, not surprisingly, but it is not as popular at the moment. But walking into the event, I expected people to play it, but very good people.
Yep.
Here, we have the best players, and they're all siding Droll Lock. So you can see that they know what they're doing. They listened.
And obviously, we saw that after the first game, Raphael Neven was very excited because going into the match in the interview, he was shaking. He was really, really nervous. After the first game, he calmed down while the match was underway. After the second duel, he was basically back to shaking.
Absolutely, like it was quite a back and forth one. Honestly, it could have gone either way, and I think he didn't see the Droll Lock coming at all.
Yeah.
That's why he was shaking. His hand wasn't that bad, but with the Droll, it was just completely useless.
Yeah.
And game 3, it was probably still shaking because you never know. Maybe a Droll Lock comes down again.
Maybe a Mystic Mind is suddenly being played against you.
Again, yes.
So there was also that chance, and then not the best opening hand for Sebastien. Raphael kicks things off. It's going okay. Not going great.
No, not going great. But at the same time, Sebastien picks up his only copy of Pot of Desires, and we are all excited. We're like, oh wow, he actually got a chance. He summoned the Pancratops, clears completely Raphael's board, and Activate Desires unfortunately draws into the driver.
Yeah. The worst card.
The worst card. Sorry, driver. Again, I love you. I love you. You know it. But then he still has one more chance. He has the Aria 0. He needs to get a Sky Striker card.
Doesn't hit it.
No Sky Striker card.
And you could see the crowd was getting excited, and Raphael was like shifting gears. He was like, "Oh, this might be Lady Luck shining on me. This might be my moment."
Yes.
He draws from the top. It is the Denko Sekka, and that suddenly we saw. 15 seconds of speed dueling with Raphael Neven just go bam, 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 bam. All of the nervousness was completely wiped from his face. Super confident going through the motions and just leaving Sebastien in an unwinnable position.
But congrats again to both for making it this far, and to Raphael.
Yes.
Who is going to have a very good chance to go to the World Championship. Yes. He's going to advance to the top 4, and he has a double chance there,
He has to win one of the next 2 matches. He's guaranteed to play 2 more matches. He just has to win one of them.
Yes.
Yeah, well, best of luck to these guys.
Absolutely, but we still have plenty of action. We only are at the 3rd upcoming match, and we have 7 for today. And we have a lot more good players. We have Adrian Durson, Jay Quincy, a lot of big names still in contention.
There is a chance that all of the 7 matches are going to be as exciting as this one, which is normally not the case.
Even the previous one were very exciting. And you can see just like the World Championship, where everything is on the line, where these kind of situations are on the line, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is usually very exciting.
Yes. So guys, in case you just tuned in, we are streaming all of the relevant matches, as we just said. So the next match is going to be, it's not Jake.
I think it's Adrian, yeah.
Adrian.
It's going to be Adrian first, and then Jake is going to be in the last
Adrian
match.
versus Din Kabui.
Yes, I believe so. Exactly.
So that's what we got in store for you guys next. The players are more or less ready. They might be shaking for the interview, but they are going to... basically, they're going to get there. They're going to
get there. Honestly,
collect their thoughts and then they're going to be able to do a good match for us.
Absolutely. It's going to be a German mirror match. I'm going to
Yes,
say Germany is there. And again, nothing to say. Just keep watching. We'll be back very soon with more action.